Okay, so you want to own a gun shop. You picture the door chime, steady morning foot traffic, tickets printing, cash stacking. You imagine attachments selling themselves, ammo pallets flipping, training seats booked nightly. That's the picture. It's not a bad picture. Here's the problem. On a new gun, your gross margin is often under 10%. A gun shop is not really a retail store business. It is a compliance and add-ons business. Understand that, and how it makes and quietly loses money clicks. So let's build one from nothing and see what actually happens next. You need a federal firearms license before anything else happens. The application typically costs around $200, with renewals about $90 every 3 years. Then a compliant retail space, with rent commonly $3,000 to $8,000 monthly. You'll buy display cases, lighting, and counters, often $3,000 to $10,000. A proper safe or locking racks, typically $1,200 to $3,000 more. Your headline shock is inventory, usually $50,000 to $200,000 to start. Distributors may ask prepay or short terms until you establish history. Some brands enforce MAP pricing, limiting discounting on popular models. How much should you actually buy on day one? Here's the twist. Buying too deep is the fastest way to run dry. Used guns tie less cash and can carry much stronger margins. You start tighter. Core models plus ammo, optics, holsters, and cleaning. Sounds cautious. Here's where the obvious mental model starts to break down. Security upgrades arrive early. Alarm monitoring often runs $40 to $90 monthly. Bar gates or reinforced entries can add $1,500 to $4,000 quickly. Decent cameras and recording usually cost $600 to $2,000 installed. Locking racks and steel cables run another $300 to $900. Here's the part almost nobody budgets for correctly. The 4,473 room. You must retain each form 4,473 for up to 20 years. Shelving, boxes, fire protection usually add $1,000 to $4,000 up front. E4473 and POS software commonly run $60 to $250 per month. Local permits, signage, alarm, occupancy arrive with their own small fees. You'll likely add secure storage for records, $150 to $400. Utilities run higher than expected for lighting and HVAC, $400 to $1,000 monthly. You'll also schedule compliance training time before grand opening. Sounds manageable. Now let's talk about the people who make this work. Retail pay is typical hourly, often $12 to $25 depending market. A small 3-person team often costs $9,000 to $18,000 per month. You also need one person owning the paperwork and bound book. Every serial, date, and disposition must be correct every single time. Transactions go slower than normal retail because every step demands precision. Plan recurring training nights. 2 hours can prevent expensive mistakes. You'll standardize opening, closing, audits, and nightly paperwork handoffs. Remember payroll taxes and workers' comp, adding roughly 7% to 12%. Sales talent matters, but safety literacy matters more in this shop. Here's the surprise. Throughput is capped by careful, one-at-a-time service. You don't beat lines with more bodies, you beat them with depth. It's counterintuitive, but precision protects speed later by avoiding rework. That's the good news. Here's the volatility that comes right after it. A gun shop is not really a retail store business. It is a compliance and add-ons business that sells firearms along the way. New guns often deliver $50 to $70 gross on a $700 ticket, but optics, holsters, and cases frequently carry 30% to 40% margins. Used trades can yield $100 to $200 spreads without tying full wholesale. If you bolt on a range, memberships add $25 to $40 monthly. Training seats at $75 to $150 produce repeat attachment sales. FFL transfers generate $25 to $60 for 15 careful minutes of work. Let's do math. $25,000 monthly fixed, $100 blended gross per customer. That's roughly 250 full-ticket customers, not 250 discounted guns. You win building baskets, not racing to the bottom on price. That blended number is the engine. The unit price is a distraction. Read that again. Now let's see where the rest of the money appears. Attachment ladders, optic, holster, mags, cleaning kit, and a small safe. Memberships convert peaks into predictable $200 to $480 yearly streams. Training nights create cadence and bring friends who become customers. Light gunsmithing and sights mounting bill $40 to $120 per hour. Consignments earn 10% to 20% without buying the inventory outright. Online storefronts add ship to FFL fees and broaden reach carefully. Ammo margins are thinner, but bundles keep the basket strong. Layaway adds small fees and cements future traffic reliably. Gift cards move revenue from holidays into slow months. Themed nights convert first-timers into long-term members repeatedly. Buybacks on the counter seed profitable used inventory without cash strain. One transfer can become a site's install and case sale if offered. The best seller isn't the moneymaker. The basket and cadence are. So far, so good. Now let's talk about what can go wrong. Insurance commonly runs $2,000 to $6,000 yearly, sometimes more by market. Upgrading glass or gates after a break-in can cost $3,000 to $12,000. Card processing quietly eats 2.5% to 3.5% plus small per-swipe fees. Inspections can consume a day, costing sales and full manager attention. In some states, per-transaction background fees add $0 to $25 routinely. Denied transactions create restock work and sometimes lost accessory sales. Your software subscriptions keep billing, open or slow. Even shop supplies add up across busy weeks more than expected. Compliance slowdowns tend to land as overtime during peak surges. Key control, new locks, and small security hardware pop up unpredictably. Hidden cost number 1 was the 4,473 room keeping everything safe. Hidden cost number 2 is state fees and delays hurting close rates. None of this is decoration. Every leak chews the blended margin thin, which would have been fine, except the market can flip overnight. In 2018, Dick's Sporting Goods stopped selling certain rifles and raised age limits. By 2019, some stores removed hunting departments entirely to shift mix. They pivoted space toward categories they believed would perform steadier. Community reaction split. Some applauded, others left for independent shops. The structural lesson isn't political. It's product mix risk and volatility. Then 2020 brought record demand spikes, masking weak inventory bets. Building only for peaks leaves you exposed when the valley returns. Flexible used and consignment mixes adapt faster than deep new allocations. Memberships insulate headlines by creating durable monthly dollars. Clear policies help staff carry decisions through noisy weeks consistently. When the public mood shifts, your playbook must already include pivots. So let's slow down and actually do the math. Let's frame fixed costs, typically $20,000 to $35,000 per month. New guns bring roughly $50 to $70 gross each sale. Attachments add $60 to $120 gross if you build the basket. 10-seat class at $100 becomes $1,000 in high-margin revenue night. Transfers add $40 for careful admin work during slower periods. Aim for $100 to $140 blended gross per customer walkout. Example, $25,000 monthly fixed. At $120 blended means 209 customers. That's about 7 full basket customers per day on a 30-day month. Discount-only days earn $70. Well-built baskets can reach $140 each. Faster turns and used spreads beat more units at worse margin. Remember processing. 3% on $1,000 is $30 off your gross. Successful scenario. Memberships, training cadence, used trades, and transfer capture. Difficult scenario. Discount-led, deep new inventory, no classes, and slow turns. Here's the decision that trips people up. So, is a gun shop really a retail store business? No. It is a compliance and add-ons business that happens to sell guns. Winning owners systematize attachments, classes, and memberships deliberately. They lock down the 4,473 room and audit weekly, not yearly. They favor used spreads and quick turns over deep new commitments. Training cadence is posted and consistent. Never improvised last minute. Membership renewals are tracked like rent is due, because survival says so. They protect blended margin and refuse to train customers to wait. They cap inventory, buy opportunistically, and measure turns weekly. They remember cash is oxygen, and dead stock is a closed valve. A shop like this can work, if you run the right business. It was never really about a full case and a line out front. It's about paperwork done perfectly and baskets built deliberately, every day. If this helped, subscribe. Next time, we'll cost out a coffee roastery.